Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. Two fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrate the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Hello, everybody. It is Blake Goddamn Daly, and I am back with you for yet another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out. And I am very fortunate to be joined today by the one, the only, the greatest Canadian pro wrestling podcaster in the history of Canadian pro wrestling podcasts. The best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be. I said that backwards. Joshi! Joshi, how you doing?
Hey, not bad. Going through a heat wave this week, so pretty exhausting.
Yeah.
I just want this weather to cool off at this point. I'm done with this fucking heat.
Do you live on like a ground floor or like a elevated story? You live in an apartment, right?
I live in an apartment, but no, it's not on the ground floor. It's basically on the third floor.
Okay, so that makes heat rise. So like it's even worse. And I live on a fourth floor. So it's pretty bad. Like even when it's just like 65 outside or something, it gets pretty intense.
Here too.
Yeah, it can feel like it's 80 in my apartment.
Yeah,
but
it's awful.
But yeah, Washington hasn't had a big heat wave yet. We will in June sometime, and everybody will wish they were dead. But, that's just how Washington summers go, baby. But one thing we are going to be cool about, Joshi, is we got a pretty cool show coming ahead. You like my little transition there. So we got a real chill episode coming at you today, all right? It's cool, Daddy. Cool. See, we got something that we're going to talk about today. It's been a long time, Joshi, since we put it out to the people, right? So we took to the Sickos Club Discord. We took to Threads. We took to Blue Sky. And we said, what fucking wrestling tropes are y'all sick of? Wrestling's a tropey business, but there's some that are just more aggravating than others. And we got a whole shitload of responses, Friendaroo. So we're going to have our very fine friend over here, Gerald. Gerald, smile at the camera and let the people know you're doing okay. You see, Joshi, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, he looks good.
I forgot to feed him for a few days, but he's fine now.
Sure. I'm sure he ate some of your table.
He did, actually. I just bought that table. So that's coming out of your PayPal. That's coming out of your your check.
You didn't feed him, though.
Yeah, but I fed him table. Anyway.
All right, so bye, Blade.
So many tropes, so little time. So many tropes, so little time. My trope that I hate, that I'm just over, starts as an indie spot that gets adapted into, the mainstream, is the fake 10 count, where the ref's like 9, and then the guy jumps up from like being in a coma to like all of a sudden jumping up and getting in the ring. It happens in AEW a lot.
It does.
They've gotten better about this kind of stuff, but it can happen multiple times a show.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a spot you do more than once a show, and it's really not a spot you should do once a show. It should be like exceedingly rare. AEW doesn't do countouts. There's been like 4 countouts in AEW history. So who fucking ever believes they're going to count anybody out? I've never, ever once believed that somebody was really going to get counted out.
Neither have I.
Maybe you save that spot for like a pay-per-view or something and one match on a pay-per-view. It should not be something that you see every show. And I feel like we see it almost every show. Am I out of bounds here, Josh?
No, I agree with you. I think it's overdone. I agree. It would matter a lot more if they only did it for one match every show, as opposed to three matches, because at that point, yeah, like you said, they don't do count outs in AEW. So it's not like we're wondering if the person's going to be counted out. It hardly ever happens. So what's the point of overutilizing that?
Right. And maybe do a count out every once in a while if you want that spot to mean anything.
Honestly, why not? I don't understand why AEW is so opposed to that. It doesn't hurt anybody.
I get why they were, right? I think they want you to think like, hey, we are mostly going to get clean finishes here. They have gone into the like run in DQ finish a little more this year, but it's been fine. I haven't had any problem with it. There's been a few matches where it was like, I can't believe they did that to that match. But like, you know, I mean, the guys in the match know that's going to happen. It's not like they were surprised, but
well, I don't think it hurts if they do it every so often.
Right.
You know,
what's a trope that you think, Joshi, that you're a little tired of?
Okay, I'll tell you what it is, because I see it a lot in New Japan. And obviously we've been seeing it a lot in AEW. The ref being knocked out, the heels come out and beat up the babyface along with the heel opponent. Like, obviously the heel opponent is helping out. I am so sick of it. It's done excessively in New Japan, especially in the House of Torture matches. And in AEW, we see it a lot with the Death Riders. So that's something that I don't feel needs to happen so regularly.
Yeah, well, and I don't think making that kind of the signature spot of a heel stable is necessary. I think that it's not, especially in today's day and age, it's changed a lot. Like, fans back in the day were more conditioned to squash matches. They were more conditioned to DQ finishes and countouts, and you had to buy the pay-per-view or go to the house show to see a clean finish. But I don't think you need to do that so much, you know, like the Elite don't really do that. They don't do a bunch of run-ins and shit. I mean, it's happened before, but like the Death Riders, it's, you know, it's gone to a pretty extreme point with the Death Riders.
Oh,
the House of Torture is like completely out of control.
Oh, it's like every freaking other day. There was, I can't remember off the top of my head now, but there was an AEW pay-per-view where there were way too many run-ins.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, how many run-ins have they done tonight? It's like 5 at this point. I can't remember which one it was. So it's just, you know, please keep that to a limit.
I agree. I don't think you want to overdo that. Like on Dynamite this week, I thought Samoa Joe and Jon Moxley had a really good match in the cage prior to the shenanigans, which we all knew was going to happen in that.
Of course, yeah.
It's a cage match, no DQ. They did do a rope break inside a cage, which was
that made absolutely no sense. I didn't understand that decision.
Was Rick Knox the referee in that match? What the hell?
He was
not.
He?
It was Bryce, I think. It was Bryce, but there's no rope breaks Bryce? In a cage match.
Yeah,
come on, what are you guys doing?
Silly, yeah,
silly, but wrestling, whatever. But they had a good match, and Mox looked tough in that match.
Did.
I thought
he did.
You know, it's really upset me to watch Jon Moxley's reputation take a hit with the Death Riders, where people act like he can't have a good match. This dude fucking farts out good matches, okay? Like, he's had millions of good matches. Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. Anyway, and if you never said that, I'm not talking about you. I just mean you guys. Whoever you guys happens to be. The royal you guys. Okay, so Joshi, let's put it to the mailbag, all right? We got a lot of shit to read here. Thankfully, I've been studying how to read, so I can probably help us out here.
It's about time. Okay, go ahead. You
like
start.
I said, been boning up. Okay, I'm reading from our Sickos Club royalty in the Discord here. Shane Ethos says, everyone standing around outside in a group just waiting for someone to jump on them from the top rope.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I would say in AEW, this was a bigger problem years ago because they've gotten a lot better about cutting away. Just, you know, as the guys are lining up to catch somebody, the cameras cut away from it. They're not just showing them standing there as much. You don't see the crowd forming waiting for people to catch them. So I think they've addressed that to some degree. I'm not sure if they do that a lot in WWE or not. But it was pretty bad in AEW, particularly a few years ago, where it was just like, yeah, everybody, we got to catch this guy. And yeah, you would see everybody just kind of line up and catch him. I also think AEW's camera work is really good when it comes to like, they can see a move's not going to connect super clean and they cut to a different angle before it happens. They've gotten better at that too. Any thoughts on this one, Joshi?
Yeah, no, I agree. But I feel you see that in all of wrestling at this point where they just stand there and watch. At the same time, what are they supposed to do, right?
Well,
you know, if they, well, it's just that, like, you know, obviously some spots are choreographed and those need to be. And if you just move, the person's going to fall and hurt themselves. So
well, right. I think wrestling, it's
know?
a consequence of wrestling becoming a more choreographed sport.
Yeah.
You know, where it's not call it in the ring, brother. You know, it's, you know, hey, we got to be here or this guy's going to die.
Exactly. It's more that. I mean, like you said, though, there are, you know, you could use certain camera shots to not make it so obvious.
Yeah.
But besides that, you know, there's not much they can do. You know, we don't want wrestlers to die, right? So
no, I would prefer not.
Well,
yeah, that you know, that's a different kind of wrestling that I don't want to watch. Our buddy Joe from the UK Bleary line said table spot in every no DQ match. Fuck off. We want tables chant can double fuck. I agree with both of those. For one, guys, what the fuck is the deal with the we want table shit? Okay, I've been watching wrestling for 40 years almost, okay? I feel old. I've been watching wrestling a long time. I've seen so many fucking people go through tables. But you know what? Even if I had been watching wrestling for 5 years, I've seen a lot of fucking people go through tables. Okay?
Yeah.
They go through tables all the time. Do you really want tables that bad? Like, you don't want, like, ladders. You don't want chair. We want chair shots. I mean, like, there's not something else you could chant. Kind of fuck off with that, audience.
I know, but I feel that's something that's not going to go away.
It's definitely not.
You know, it's the Dudley Boys. You know, they started it, and the fans just haven't let it go. Yeah, they just haven't let it go. I don't want to see a table spot and, you know, these kind of matches all the time either, but the fans always chant that. And there's absolutely nothing you could do at this point. So I agree. I wish they would chant something else, like we want ladders or we want spike chainsaws. Or something.
We want chainsaws
or we want knives or we want scissors. But
never forget,
unfortunately,
Chuck Taylor did introduce a chainsaw into a match with Orange Cassidy and Wardlow years ago. And
that is true. Yes.
He's a legend for that. He's a legend for that.
So unfortunately, I don't think that's going anywhere. Sorry, Joe.
Well, look, we're not saying they're going anywhere. We're just complaining.
Yeah, no, I know. We're just complaining. It just realistically,
they're not going anywhere.
One of those things where we just have to kind of bite our tongue and accept that we're stuck with it.
Our buddy Justin Ray, and the guy who this week was my co-host of an interview with Mr. Philippine Wrestling, the Filipino Fighting Rooster, Jake DeLeon. Justin says, escape rules in cage matches. Now, because I don't watch New York, I never see escape rules in cage matches. And I have to say, AEW does cage matches right when they do them. Like, you can't win by just getting to the floor. Fuck that. Like, the cage is not there to be climbed and escaped from. It's there to create like a definitive end. Right.
To keep both opponents in the match. That's why you have a cage match, so they can't escape.
Right. And if they do escape, I think it's like, it shouldn't be the end of the match. It should be like, you know, you shouldn't use a cage match to chicken shit your way out of an ending, you know?
No, I agree with you.
And that's been done forever. He also says, what chance? Which I wholeheartedly agree with. I
hate those chants.
It's bad.
Listen,
Stone Cold.
They're just rude. Yeah, they're just rude at this point, honestly.
They are. Stone Cold, you brought so much of the greatest shit ever to this business. It's only fair that you brought the worst thing ever to this business.
Yeah, you did, Austin.
Yeah, for all the good that you brought the worst thing as well. and it's the what chance. Shane Ethos also says finishing moves, not finishing the match. I feel kind of two ways about this one. I asked Lance Storm, what's your favorite finisher? And Lance said, I don't like finishing moves in the sense of there's one move that just always finishes somebody.
Right.
There are a few moves that if you hit them, it's pretty hard to see why or how somebody could possibly kick out. But Lance was just saying, like, the idea that you do this same move every time and it always finishes somebody, that got me thinking, you know, like I kind of like that Danielson could finish people like 6 different ways, you know, in AEW. I kind of liked, you know, and then I do like the one winged angel, you know, as a finisher. So kind of depends on the move. Joshi, your thoughts?
Doesn't really bother me. I think that sometimes it's actually really neat when a wrestler wins with a small package because you could tell that they struggled throughout the match against that opponent. So when you see a wrestler win that way, you think, oh, you know, that was pure luck. Whereas if it's a finisher, it's more at that point, the winner of the match wasn't really struggling. They were most likely the stronger opponent.
Right.
And I don't mean in size, but in wrestling ability or whatnot. So sometimes it's just needed. You just want a sneaky win.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he's talking about people kicking out of finishers. Which
it doesn't really bother me. I think that when I started to watch New Japan, I became very accustomed to that and I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
Only because it makes the match, for me anyways, it makes it a lot more enjoyable and makes you wonder, how the heck is this person going to win? What do they have to do to put this person away? I'm not saying it needs to be done all the time, but I personally don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. That I think there's something to be said for like when you've seen a move enough, or maybe you've taken a move enough, you know how to protect yourself a little better with it. And, you know, like Okada in America, a Rainmaker is like the end, right? But in Japan, for a long time, it was the end. And then progressively people started kicking out of it more and it became less effective. He could do 3 or 4 of them in a match and not put a guy away. So I think it's circumstantial. It just depends. Neon Ghost, whoever that is, the chaos of a multi-man tag match, having multiple wrestlers in the ring at once. Like if there's a ref bump, that should be okay. But the referee should do their best to contain the chaos throughout the match. I want to see that 10 count rule enforced. 10 seconds in the ring with your tag partner. I agree. However, referees losing control is a big part of a tag match. So I actually don't know how fun that would be. For me personally, I'm not sure. But I do get it. It does often look like there's just no rules in these matches, especially in like a 6 or 8 man match, you know?
I get it too, but you know what? I guess I'm going to repeat this a lot. And JPW accustomed me to a lot of this stuff. So I just ended up, you know, accepting it. And now I'm used to it. So it doesn't really bother me. It's like, if I didn't watch a lot of Japanese wrestling, it would probably annoy me.
Yep.
But because I spent so much time watching NJPW and Stardom, I just thought, okay, whatever. You know, the refs are silly sometimes and
the refs
they don't enforce
in Japan
rules. Yeah, especially Red Shoes, but I love him.
He's a terrible ref.
I know, but he's a fun character. Though.
I love Red Shoes. Yeah. I've met Red Shoes. He's he's a cool guy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he's a legendary ref. He's one of the best.
He is.
But in kayfabe, he's terrible.
Oh, absolutely. He
lets people get away with everything.
I know.
Like, basically, you could hit somebody in the face with a steel chair right in front of him, and if you cover the guy, he just won't count the pin. But he won't disqualify you. Like, like you have to have somebody else come in from the outside and kick somebody in the balls for him to disqualify you. Like, but Japanese refs, that is what they do. Like, exactly. You see it in old All Japan. You see it in everything. There's shitloads of rule breaking right in front of the refs. Like, they don't give a fuck about protecting the refs in Japan.
No.
Like, if you're there, you're the idiot who counts the 3, and that's it. So I totally agree with you. Like, in Japanese wrestling, refs let people get away with everything.
Yeah, you just move, get over it and think, okay, whatever,
Yeah.
Let these wrestlers do whatever they want. It doesn't have to be like WWE where the referee has to be so strict on rules. There's other, there are other types of companies that do things other ways. So.
And then famed wrestling action figure photographer / podcaster on the Bubba Cast, Zerpy, or as I call him as of right now, Zerpa Lurpa Ding Dong, has said 2 wrestlers thrown together as a team beating an established tag team. Totally agree on that one. Yeah. I am not a fan.
I'm not a fan of that either. No.
I will say Ospreay and Hangman beating Alexander and Takeshita this week didn't feel like a problem to me because Takeshita and Alexander aren't really like a tag team.
Right.
They've tagged a few times, but they're not like FTR. Like, had they beaten FTR, I would have a problem with that. That's bullshit.
Oh yeah, me too. 100%. Yeah.
FNA KC, former guest of the Hard Way, when WWE would do the Bourne Identity style rapid cuts that gave more kids seizures than Pokemon ever did. Absolutely, Kevin Dunn. Fuck you. Glad you're gone.
Agreed.
Alex Batt. I'm not exactly sure if it's a trope more than this weird tendency in AEW booking, but existing champions gunning for other championship titles. Like, why are the Sons of Texas going for the AEW tag titles? It's like the distracted boyfriend meme. You know what, Alex Batt? This is the best one so far. I completely agree. If you're a champion, defend your fucking title. Why would you want to win more titles? Just defend the one you got. Unless you're Mercedes. And I don't want to hear it. Shut up. Everybody else shut up.
In total agreement. I hate when that happens. And yes, Sons of Texas, that's a really great example. I did not like that they were on Dynamite. We'll get into that a little bit more later. But yeah, if you already have gold, I don't see why you need to, an established team, let's say, needs to try to get another belt and just insert themselves into a rivalry when they should be focusing on their title reign. Completely agreed. Mercedes is a different story. So I agree. Blade, that's a belt collector. And we've seen it with Kenny Omega. We're seeing it now with Mercedes. But that's a situation that doesn't happen that regularly. So it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Buddy says getting hit in the balls when ref not looking and then getting pinned. Don't get me wrong. Getting your balls kicked in sucks a lot. But does having Gato hit your balls hurt you more than Kenny Omega's V-trigger? That's a great point. Like, look, getting hit in the balls sucks, but you could kick out from a ball shot. Like, that shouldn't be an automatic pin. And wrestling treats a ball shot like being shot with a gun. Like, you're done. You got hit in the balls. It's over. I agree. Joshi?
I have no balls, so I can't comment on that.
Fair enough. I've been hit in the balls before. It hurts. It hurts a lot. You really wish it hadn't happened, but it doesn't knock you out. You know what I mean? Skewered Universe, champions not wearing their belts when making their entrance or cutting a promo in their gear. Carrying it when in street clothes is fine, but I want people to wear their belts more. We can essentially tie that into someone as a tag or trios champion is having a singles match. They should have the belt with them. The announcer is stating they're 1/2 or 1/3 of insert team here. I agree with that. If you're a champion,
me too.
You should be really proud of being a champion. You should always have your belt.
Yeah, show off your belt. Cough, Moxley, cough.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. We haven't seen the AEW World title since last October. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then Neon Ghost, again, newcomer. I'm not sure who this man is, but he says, I'd like to expand on that. I hate when champions carry their belts for a run-in to fight with people after a match. But yes, they should have them at every other time. Agreed. When people run out like with the title around their shoulders, and it's clearly slowing them down. Like, what is that about? Like,
I
also wearing it around your waist would slow you down too.
Exactly. These belts aren't exactly light, you know.
Yeah, they're heavy. They're heavy.
Yeah.
And then good friend 80, in it Bab, said, I hate it when bald wrestlers get slapped on the head. Should be bound outright. Because 80 is bald and feels that bald wrestlers have been unfairly punished. I'm going to say, Joshi, not wrong. Bald wrestlers, man, they are not liked in AEW. It's not a bald-friendly atmosphere.
You know, I have to say Larry David was absolutely right. The kind of treatment that bald men receive is just unacceptable.
Absolutely.
And now we're even seeing it in wrestling. And I feel for Ricochet. I do. I think that he has a very nice head. And it's unfortunate that he's being bullied so much for being bald right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think these fans that chant bald should probably get fined. Maybe even arrested.
Arrested is where I was going to go. Like,
yeah,
they should have their voting privileges taken away.
Yeah, these kind of people shouldn't vote. I mean, they're already discriminating.
Yeah,
you know, imagine if you had a politician that was bald. You already know these people aren't going to vote for that politician.
And we have had politicians that are bald. And how many of them are president? Bernie's bald. You're balding. You know,
look what happened.
Look what happened. And now we have fascism. Now we have fascism.
Now here we are.
Because of anti-bald prejudice.
Yeah. This is becoming a worldwide problem.
Yeah, you guys disgust me. All of you are disgusting to me. Big Dad's last Discord comment here. Champions coming out first for title matches. I understand there's a canon reasoning for it being the champion's prerogative, which order they come out, but fuck that. Challengers come out first and sweat the champ's entry. That's the rule. I agree with that pretty much, but it's been happening for a long time. I remember WrestleMania 5. Savage came out first. And Ventura is going nuts. He's like, why is the champion coming out first, McMahon? This is bullshit. And he's right.
Jesse was right. Yeah.
I think if you're the champion, you should always come out second. That is generally, if you're the babyface, you come out first.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why that is or what the psychological reasoning behind that is, but that is a reason. If you're a babyface, they want you to come out first.
We want the champion to come out last. Period.
Right.
Yes.
Like you're the one everybody paid to see, theoretically.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're moving over to Blue Sky. We don't have nearly as many over there. Young Jay says Trope, the other place creative. WWE creative, yes. I mean, it's all pretty much very tropey. Yes.
Agreed, yes.
Akel says this probably doesn't count as a trope, but playing entrance music videos for run-ins might be the biggest pet peeve. So like somebody's music hits and then they run out.
You're right.
Like the sound guy's standing right by the entrance and just hitting the fucking button for that exact music right as they run out. Kind of hard to believe at this point. Kind of hard to believe. I do remember when that started. It was like in the 90s. I think it was like an Ultimate Warrior run-in the first time I saw it happen. And they literally in WWF magazine, like, fortunately, he ran right past the sound man. Because it didn't make a lot of sense. Actually, you know what? I think it was at WrestleMania 7 when he came out to save Hogan from Sid and Papa Shango. They hit his music and he ran down the aisle. So, yeah, I agree. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Pippin, where the ref didn't see the weapon because something made him look in the opposite direction, but there was a sound, and the wrestler who was formerly in control of the match is now knocked out. I agree, Pippin. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
I agree as well.
Let's see. Tino, our friend Tino. Okay, this might just be my own personal pet peeve, but anybody outside of the Guerrero family doing a Three Amigos, then Eddie's dance just to get a quick pop. It's overdone. I will say that.
I think it's overdone.
I think it's got to be like agreed, like here's the 2 or 3 people who can do it. I'm not sure if it has to be strictly the Guerrero family for me personally, but you know, I saw Bandito do it. Does he need to be doing? I don't know. Like I've seen Ray Phoenix do it. You know, a lot of people do it. It's a lot of people. Mercedes.
She does do it. Yeah, every single match.
And Mercedes, I got to say, she really isn't good at dancing. Like, not that dance.
She doesn't do the dance properly. No.
She doesn't do it well. And
No.
I think, I'm like, is that for heat or can she not? Mr. Orange, a wrestler looking absolutely shocked when their opponent kicks out of the pin after insert random non-finishing move here. Yeah, like when Adam Cole hits somebody with a super kick and they kick out. And then he's like got the NXT shocked face. Yeah, or like, you know, Hogan like hitting a clothesline and covering somebody and they kick out and he's like, "What, brother?"
I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. I find it funny when Adam Cole reacts that way.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not ragging on Adam Cole. I'm just saying like
No. I know. Just as an example, because he's the first person I thought of too. I find it hilarious.
Yeah, and I think, again, that just comes down to people have been conditioned to accept finishers as the only true way to finish a match. I don't think finishers are the only true way. I think roll-ups, small packages, all of that stuff, as long as they don't look stupid, it's just called being out-wrestled. Like, Mina pinned Tony with a reverse small package. It just looked like she caught Tony that match, you know? Doesn't mean she'll do it again, but she did that night. And it doesn't make her look definitively stronger than Tony. It just means she caught her. And I have no problem with that personally. Okay. So now, Joshi, you're going to read the next batch of these. We're moving over to threads. And on mine, there is a whole bunch. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, D-Camps 2024.
Yeah.
He has a very long list. Okay. So first, people should only be allowed at ringside if they hold the manager's license.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. Sometimes you want your friend with you at ringside. That's not a problem for me.
Let's be clear about D-Camps. And he would tell you this himself, okay? He wants everything to make perfect sense.
That is true.
Right. And that he absolutely cannot stand it when it does not make perfect sense. So keep that in mind as you listen to these.
Number 2, VAR should be a thing because it's fucking lazy booking to do the ref missed it trope.
VAR. Do we know what that means?
So I believe it's when you like replays, right?
Oh, instant replay, like some kind of instant replay. Okay.
Look, it does annoy me when the ref misses certain things, especially when they're really obvious.
It's a huge part of the business, though.
Yeah, but it is a huge part of the business. So again, this kind of one of those things where you need to kind of accept when it comes to professional wrestling.
Yeah.
3, ending a fight in a non-definitive schmoz because the booker is a terrible storyteller and wants to stretch things out. Yep, I agree, D-Camps.
That's basically, what you just said about the Death Riders and House of Torture.
Yeah, there we go. So an absolute agreement. 4, tag teams that don't hold the tag ropes, don't match, and are thrown together, beating an established decent team, even if they are higher up on the card. So yes, we did mention this before. We are in agreement. We do not like when that happens. I blame?
No, I agree.
All right. 5, people who have never shown that they are hard to beat kicking out of more than one finisher. I would need some examples. Again, this depends. If they're trying to build this wrestler that was losing for a while, I can see why they would kick out of more than one finisher. It's all about all about circumstances for me. I blame.
Well, it's all about the boom for me, Joshi. So,
all right. Well, there. 6, people using other people's finishers as transitional moves.
I think that's gotten really hard to avoid doing at this point. I just look at it like for instance, like Jake Roberts did a DDT. He was the only guy in WWF that did the DDT.
Mm.
But when you watch WCW, there were a bunch of people doing DDTs. I just was like, they don't do them as well as Jake. That was my internal rationale as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's kind of inevitable. How many more new creative moves can a wrestler really come up with? Wrestling has been around, for so long. So, not really a problem for me. 7, promos longer than 5 minutes. Depends who's talking, but I don't have any patience for promos that are longer than 10 minutes. I blame.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's circumstantial. It depends on the quality of the talker. It depends on a lot of things. But I think generally if a talking segment goes longer than 10, it's hard to understand why generally it needs to go that long. 8,
pile drivers, etc. on ring steps, not writing people off TV for at least a month. So not writing the person who took the pile driver on the step off of TV.
They're doing them in matches now where, like Tony got pile driven on a step by Mariah, or was it the other way around in the Hollywood Ending match?
I believe it was the other way around, right?
Yeah, I think Tony did it to Mariah because she's got all the cushion in the, in the butt. But I mean, I can see your point. I remember when MJF hit a second rope tombstone on Sammy Guevara and Sammy kicked out on AEW years ago, and people just throwing a fucking fit about that. It's hard to argue. I mean, it does look like it should finish you, but
yeah, I agree as well. You do want to make it seem like the heel destroyed the babyface, and so it is a good idea to write them off TV for a while. Yeah. Number 9, I Blade. We already touched on this, so it was basically a wrestler's theme song playing for a run-in during a match.
Yep.
So we already talked about that. And then we have Misha Samra, heel managers coming out with doctored VR footage to try and get a match restarted. Not sure if we've even seen that in AEW.
Yeah, I think, is that a suggestion? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I've never seen that happen, but that would actually be a very creative finish.
Yeah.
And then Camp said, I would like to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have Wrestle Snark. Supernational food coloring spit of doom. The spot drives me nuts every time. Yes, I understand the history of it, but that doesn't mean it belongs in modern companies.
I think the Mist, at this point is one of those things that's been overdone. I get it. Especially the last few years. Like, I remember Jericho started doing the Mist, and then I know Shinsuke wrestled Muta, and there was, a lot of Mist going on in that match. And then Shinsuke kind of started doing the Mist, and Asuka was doing the Mist. And all of a sudden, it's like if you're a Japanese wrestler, you're doing the Mist in America. Like, it can be overdone. I'm a total mark for the Mist because of Muta. But I think there's diminishing returns the more you do it and the more people that do it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind it. I don't like when it's overdone, though.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Miss Malaki. Can we please end the Fabergé referee? Like, I get it. If Mox crashed into me at full speed, I probably need to take a few minutes to stare into the lights and try to remember my name. But ref's taking a baby soft love tap before delicately collapsing in a heap safely out of the way so the heel can do some heel stuff absolutely drives me up the wall. It gets worse when no other ref comes out to ensure the match can continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you see basically a collision totally miss or a ref just take the lightest of blows or whatever, and then they're down on the mat for 5 minutes, that's pretty lame. Yeah. It definitely takes you out of the match at that point, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Next, we have Walker G42. 2 enemies having to tag team. Can they coexist? For me, it depends.
I think it's situational. It's a trope that WWE ran into the ground forever. Like, for a while there, it was basically like, if you're in a main event feud, you're going to have to be the tag team champions at some point for some period of time. Like, okay, it's who do we got here? Cena and Batista. Okay, you guys are the tag champs now. or Cena and Orton or whatever, that just became like part of this cookie cutter process. But it just depends on who it is. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we've got Penny, Not Penny. If they could stop knocking out refs, that would be great.
Never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
Yeah.
Understand,
but it's never going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Killam Faulkner.
Yeah.
Wrestler 1 goes to the top rope. Wrestler 2 goes up, punches Wrestler 1, sets up for superplex. Wrestler 1 punches Wrestler 2. Wrestler 2 gets off the turnbuckles. Wrestler 1 gets off turnbuckles. Match continues. So what was the point of going to the top rope? No superplex, no flying move, nothing happened, just a pointless tease.
And they just had to change their approach. In my opinion, I don't have a problem with that because I think that would, let's just say these moves, you could really do them to each other, right? Like, guys, don't be fooled. You can't even body slam somebody for real unless you're so much bigger than they are, okay? So, like, we're already pretending that, people can, casually lift people over their heads and do all this crazy shit. I don't have a problem with somebody having to change their strategy a little bit. I also don't mind occasionally when like a table spot's teased and it never happens. I mean, that's what would happen in real life, Yeah,
I agree with you. I bleed. Next up, Quiet One Tonight. Multiple roll-ups a show. We are trying to keep people strong. Great. But for fuck's sake, there are 100 other ways, and this one is played literally to death.
I think it depends on where you're watching. I don't see a lot of roll-ups in AEW per se, but again, this goes back to like, I don't mind it when somebody just gets out wrestled. They just get caught. They get caught in a roll-up. They get caught in a small package. They get caught in something. That's technical wrestling. I like technical wrestling myself.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't want to see it multiple times per show, though. I agree with that.
All right. Then we have Lee Mardani.
Lee!
1 and 2 count back and forth roll-ups. I hate it so much.
Oh, where they like trade the roll-ups over and over again?
I like it.
What's wrong with you, Mardoni?
Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't know. Mardoni. Oh, yeah, I get it. Why it would bother you. No worries. Excruciator. This trope is way overused for how often someone is actually counted out.
Oh, I think he's responding to mine, where it's like
okay.
The 9 count thing.
Okay, perfect.
They rush back into the ring.
Agreed. Long knife assassin. It's not so much a trope, but I'm not liking it that a wrestler being pinned is watching the ref do the 3 count to know when to kick out, especially after they were hit with a hard hitting blow. I don't know if that's a recent thing or if it's always been the way, but it's certainly become more noticeable.
So like when you're lying down and you can see them looking at the ref.
Yeah.
Because they have to kick out, but they're watching the hands. I have noticed as I've gone back to older stuff, because at some point it became more noticeable that people were doing that. But when I went back and watched the stuff from when I was a kid, people did do that like quite a lot. It felt like people were like just kicking out on feeling more when I was a kid, but it's not as much as I thought. Like the more I watch old stuff, I see it a lot. But I agree. When you can see a guy just looking at the ref waiting to kick out at the right time, that does take you out of it a little.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Adam Bomb TV. Wrestler on outside of ring destroyed. Ref starts 10 count. 1, 2. Wrestler still down. 3, 4. Still out like a light. 5, 6. Light stirring. 7, 8. Gets to one knee. Falls down again. 9. Gets to wobbly legs. Dives into ring at just last moment every freaking time. Okay, so we talked about this earlier.
Yeah, that's mine, basically.
That was yours. Yes.
It is really annoying.
Yeah, it is. Cryptid Pigeon. This one wouldn't be so annoying if we actually got ring out losses, but companies seem to hate booking ring out endings, especially AEW. I think there's only been like 2 to 4 in the entire run.
Yeah.
So he's talking about countouts.
Yep.
Yeah, we agree. One Pauper Monk. Did someone say count out?
And it's a picture of Yano.
Yano, yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful Star Wars memes. Beatdowns for cheap heel heat. I'm watching wrestling. You're not going to get heat for inflicting undue violence. I like to see violence. 90% of the time, you'll get more heat by making an astute observation about your opponent that visibly affects them rather than kick them in the corner of the ring.
I agree with that. I mean, I think that, beatdowns for heat are pretty common, and there could probably be a few less of those so that we could have people with more meaningful back and forth jabs at each other. I don't think you see a lot of that or enough of that. So I agree.
Yeah, same here. TJJ James 66. So the endless use of foreign objects under the ring is just so stupid.
It is stupid.
Yeah.
Never going to change, but it's stupid.
Next, Maniac THW. Clown Joker gimmicks, especially in the indies. I can't really say that I've seen much of that, so
yeah,
not affected by that. And that's it.
That's it. Wow. Well, thank you, everybody, for your tropes that you're fucking sick of, okay? Even if we don't agree with you, we respect your ability to be annoyed by these tropes. And we thank you for your participation. Gerald, please, music.
So, are you ready to talk about Dynamite,
Sure
I Blade?
Dynamite wasn't super tropey. I'll say that.
It wasn't super tropey, and it had a special name, Beach Break.
In the beachiest town in this.
Yeah, in Chicago,
right.
right? So many beaches, very well known, clearly. Anyway, so we got to see Hangman Adam Page and Will Ospreay team up against Takeshita and Josh Alexander.
Yes, we did.
That was a great match.
Holy shit.
I loved it. Yep. It was awesome. And the storytelling in that match was really, really, really good. Yeah. I liked that, first off, Ospreay and Hangman actually worked really well together.
They did. Oh,
they're
no,
a great tag team. Yeah.
They were super good.
But, Ospreay not wanting to tag Hangman in at certain points and all of that. And there were also moments in the match where they accidentally hit each other, or they did hit each other, and then they would just get like super angry at each other, right, even though it's clearly accidental. Right. I did like those things. So this is actually an example of two wrestlers in a rivalry right now that I don't mind tag teaming.
Well, they're both baby faces, and they're both, so it's like, yeah, you can see that they don't like hate each other. They both want to beat each other. But I thought the thing where Ospreay didn't tag Hanger at the beginning, he kind of showed just a little trace of that unserious Ospreay that Swerve kicked around last year, where he didn't take Swerve seriously enough and Swerve beat his ass for it. So there was a little like tease of that childish Will Ospreay, which I thought was great. And then the spot where Ospreay almost hit the hidden blade on Hangman, and his elbow came right up to his face, and the look on Hangman's face, like, like that was so perfect. Oh my God. Hanger almost hits Ospreay with a buckshot, but neither one of them actually hit each other during the match.
No.
And Joshi, that combined buckshot
that was
blade,
dope, man.
The buck blade.
The buck blade, yeah. I loved it.
The blade shot, like whatever.
Yeah.
It was fucking cool. Like,
it was really
that would be a legit tag team finisher if anybody did it. But that's a way you pin Josh Alexander without making him look bad, because that would have pinned anybody. And they had teased these guys almost hitting each other many times during the match, and they didn't. And then after the match, they're talking to each other. And also, by the way, hold on, before we get to that point, during the match, Takeshita and Alexander did some cool shit too.
Yeah, yes, they're a great team.
Alexander has Ospreay in an electric chair position, and then he shoots him off his shoulders into the air, and Takeshita hits him with a knee in the face.
I love that, yeah.
Crazy. That's a death blow. That's like, what the fuck was that? I've never seen that before. That was insane. And also, when did you ever think 4 years ago if I had told you, yeah, there's going to be a tag team match on Dynamite, it's going to be Hangman Page teaming with Will Ospreay versus Josh Alexander and Konosuke Takeshita. Crazy. That's a crazy matchup.
Yeah.
That's just a Dynamite match. That's crazy.
These are crazy times. Honestly,
that would have been a pay-per-view main event 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
Wild. And anyway, so after the match, Hangman and Ospreay are kind of doing that obligatory, like we both raise our hands in each other's face. Like, I'm going to get you. No, I'm going to get you. And then everybody's hoping that they're going to kiss. And then Konosuke Takeshita obviously was hoping for the same thing because he need Hangman Page from behind and made him kiss Will Ospreay's with his face, with his forehead into Will Ospreay's nose, which appeared to be broken because Ospreay had a huge trail of blood.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out of his nose. It definitely looks like he broke his nose, but Ospreay didn't even sell it. Of course, he sold on the mat, but man, that dude's tough. Like,
he's really tough.
Brutal. Jesus Christ.
I do want to say something very quickly, and I apologize if this offends anybody. Not my intention. It's just my opinion. So when my hubby and I, so Joshi, Jay, and I were watching the match, I looked at him and I asked him, I'm not asking you who is better. I'm asking you, who is your personal favorite? Will Ospreay or Hangman Adam Page? And he said, okay, Hangman Adam Page. And I said, me too. Honestly, man, and I love Ospreay, but it's just crazy to me that Hangman is still one of those wrestlers that stands out and that you keep rooting for. He's just so freaking special. I just had to say that.
AEW is Hangman and Swerve's company.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely. Yeah.
It's there. They are the two. They are the guys. Okay, they are the future of this company, and it's insane to me that you have Ospreay in that company. You have Jay White in that company. You have so many more. Takeshita in that company, and it's still their company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That says more about them than it does anything bad about anybody else. Okay. I love Will Ospreay.
Oh, me too.
I was thinking watching the show the other night. I don't know who the best wrestler in the world, but they almost certainly wrestle in AEW. And it's arguable. You could make a case that the entire top 10 is in AEW. It's crazy how stacked this roster is. It's the greatest roster ever assembled. I don't feel weird about saying that.
Me neither. We love you, Hanger. Okay.
We love you, Hanger. Ospreay fights, helps fight off Takeshita, helps fight off Josh Alexander, and then Hangman, thinking that he's helping out, grabs Ospreay by the shoulder to kind of move him out of the way of something, and Ospreay punches Hangman in the face, and there's finally that big intentional hit, but Ospreay realizes he made a mistake, tries to apologize. It was just good stuff, kind of what you'd expect.
It was really good.
Expertly done. I got to say as well, Don Callis was exceptionally funny on commentary during this match. Just super
Don
fun.
Is always awesome. I love Don.
Riccaboni says to him, well, Don, what brings you out here? And Don goes, well, I don't know if you follow the product or watch the show, but I kind of come out here during every match of my guy and get on commentary. He was so good. Don Callis
Don's the best.
He's so amazing, man. This dude is just in his bag all the time. He's just, I'm scared to know how much this is the real Don Callis, because he does it so well that it feels like it really is. That's who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we also got the debut, the AEW debut, at least, as a full-time roster member of Mina Shirakawa. Now, Joshi, I got a question straight off for you.
Yes.
What music did you like better? Was it the new Mina music or the original Mina music?
Well, you got to give people time to adjust to the new music. And at first I thought, oh, okay, they're not playing her old music. Interesting. Yep. And then, once I started listening to it more and more, I thought, you know what, it's growing on me. And she had her choreographed dance and I was fine with it. I just think it's one of those things where, Tony, you can't just go on Twitter and pay attention to what people say on there. I don't think most people actually had a problem with it. And
Well, and who gives a fuck what anybody on Twitter thinks?
Exactly. Well, I don't understand why he was so quick to revert it back to her stardom music.
I think he didn't want her win to be overshadowed by that conversation. He's trying to be fan centric, and I get it, but I feel bad for Mikey Ruckus because he wrote that entire thing. Mina had a whole dance for it. It was so well put together that I'm like, give it 2 weeks. People won't.
Yeah,
care
they didn't
anymore.
even give it a chance. I thought that was silly.
Her music, from Stardom, is kind of generic sounding anyway.
Exactly.
I don't think Tony needs to be quite that reactive. I do get it, but I also think that if he just let them have that dumb one night of arguing about it, it wouldn't be a big deal,
Yeah.
and they would get used to it. Because honestly, I watched it again. It's a cool track. I think it's cool.
It is.
It sounds totally stylized for her, and it's probably more her style. In real life, more her style. So I hope she gets the music back, but her gear's different. She looked like she'd been preparing for this for a long time. She looked so stoked to be there, and I was stoked for her.
Same. It was also really nice to see Azumi back in AEW. She's always a pleasure to watch. Terrific wrestler, very quick in the ring. And I have to say, Sky Blue being back made a huge difference to me because I really did miss her. It really did have an impact on me. She has really become a huge part of the women's division. Mm-hmm. Loved her new look. She looked good in the ring. I'm really glad that neither Azumi or Sky Blue took the pin. I would have had a huge problem with that.
Yeah, no, I think the way that they set this up, because you were kind of annoyed that Tony kept winning in these eliminator matches, right?
Well, yeah, it was overdone. She won 4 for crying out loud.
But I think they kind of paid it off here, where it was one, she's the one who took the pin. Because Tony has no problem doing a job. She doesn't care about that at all. Oh, by the way, before we get too far off topic, when Mina's music's playing and Tony's doing her white girl head bob to it, that was hilarious. She just looked like the whitest girl, trying to be funky, it was really funny. But I thought they paid it off well here. Azumi, I thought looked great in the match. She's Azumi. She's going to look great in the match. Sky Blue looked very good for coming off the kind of injury she had. And I would further say Sky Blue I think she needs a new finisher, to be honest. I don't think a lot of people know how to take that move very well. They take it like it's a sunset flip where they just kind of roll onto their back. And that's not what she's trying to do.
Right.
And it's been a problem for a long time. She needs a new finisher. I don't like that move as a finisher.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I can't remember who she did it to. Was it Mina who took it like a sunset flip where she just rolled over like she was going to pin her?
I think it was Mina.
Yeah. It just didn't work for me.
I agree.
Yeah. But we'll, it didn't ruin the match or anything. I just think that finisher isn't working out so well. Anyway, so Mina does get this was a very good match, I should say.
It was. Tony
looks like she's having a blast with all these different matches she's been in lately. This lady really likes to wrestle. I mean, Tony Storm, one thing, she really seems to be having fun wrestling. And that's, that should maybe seem obvious to some people, but it's not as obvious as you think. Not everybody always looks like they're having a blast. And Tony does. And so Mina reverses a small package and gets the pin. And it's Tony and Mina at Double or Nothing. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I don't think Mina's going to win, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It was the right call.
I think so. Mina's first match. Come on.
Yeah, that's a really big first match.
And they didn't punk out Azumi and they didn't punk out Sky Blue. They had the champ take the pin. That was the right way to do it. After the match, Azumi's, kind of being helped to the back. And man, is she just getting better every time I see her. And Mercedes beats the shit out of Azumi because Azumi at Resurgence took Mercedes' title by pinning Mina. So Mercedes has a beef with everybody in that match, basically. Mina for costing her the title, Azumi for stealing her title, and Tony because she wants her title. So that was cool. And then Jamie Hates comes out to get Mercedes off Azumi. Very cool. I like the whole thing. I thought it was great.
I liked it a lot too. It is sad that Mercedes Moné is now 3 belts Moné and not 4 belts, but this is the start of her losing her belts one by one. So
I think so. I don't think you'd want her to like win the world championship while she's still holding all these other belts. Because in my opinion, especially since she's under contract to AEW, you want that one belt to mean more than all those other belts. You know, like if you're the promoter, if you're TK, the world championship means the most. That's why I don't think she's going to win at Double or Nothing. She has to lose that TBS title first. So, great segment. It really, really fun.
Agreed.
Joshi, I know this is one you want to talk about.
Yes. Okay. So next up, we have MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. So basically, the Hurt Syndicate had told MJF that he would get his answer today on whether or not he would become a member of their faction or not. So MJF at one point is backstage being interviewed by Renee, and he seems all excited. And then Renee asks him, well, what if they, don't want you in their faction and they decide to hurt you really badly? And he's kind of freaking out at that point because he didn't really think about it. Right. He's so confident that he's going to be a part of the faction. So we then have Hurt Syndicate wrestle Top Flight.
Yep.
And actually, prior to the match, they had told MJF that they would give him an answer right after this match. So, yes, so we have Hurt Syndicate versus Top Flight. Pretty much a squash match. Mm-hmm. At this point, I don't like the way they're booking Top Flight at all.
No.
They're losing a lot. It's really hard to take them seriously at this point. I don't understand what the heck is going on. But this isn't working for me. These two are very talented. To be honest, I thought they would be tag team champs at this point.
At least ROH tag champs. Like this is one of the bigger fails in AEW right now is they insert Top Flight into something and it feels like they're trying to make them significant. And then they lose and they just get killed.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And I just hate it. Like I don't enjoy it at all. And it's they feel like a joke at this point. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
So Blade, you wanted to discuss the crew and the Sons of Texas?
I sure did. You don't want the heat, brother? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I completely agree with you. So I'll let you talk about it and then I'll jump in.
So before we get to the good shit,
we had some not great shits.
Yes. After the match, Bobby will not release the Hurt Lock on Dante, who just looks like a little rag doll, just getting ragdolled around. He literally looks like a little kid. Mm-hmm. And not in a good way. Like they were just made to look so bad in this match. And Bobby won't release a Hurt Lock. Then the Sons of Texas music hits and they come out. So, stuff people love, people's music hit, and then they come out. And Dustin says, why don't you pick on someone your own size? And it's like, okay, so you've just made Top Flight look even more like chumps.
Yeah.
They're not, you just called them children, basically. So they release the Hurt Lock, and Dustin and Sammy, who are the ROH tag champs, which nobody cares about, say, we want your tag titles because Dustin is the fucking ROH 6-man championship that nobody cares about. And he's the ROH tag champ, which nobody cares about. And so he wants to win a title someone cares about. So he challenges them. And then they are interrupted by Crew, who aren't on TV enough for anybody to care about. They've only tagged on TV, I think, like 4 or 5 times.
Right, yeah.
They're teeny tiny. I've met Action Andretti. I am taller than him. And I am 5'8". They would look even smaller than Top Flight in the ring with the Hurt Syndicate. I get why they're saying that they deserve a title shot because they haven't lost much if they've lost at all. They beat Top Flight. They have a credible, if Top Flight deserved a tag title shot, so does Crew. Then they start, and then Dustin goes, well, you can't cut in line. And Sammy says nothing this entire time. He just stands there like a dipshit.
By the way, that made no sense at all because the Sons of Texas, they cut in front of line.
Yeah.
In front of the line. So it's like, what are you even talking about? You guys literally just did the same thing. And
before all of this, they had spent, some backstage time with Max saying, hey, after the match, you're coming out. Mm-hmm. And they just spend 5 fucking minutes on this dumb shit. And so MVP just basically says, look, you guys shut the fuck up. You guys fight on Collision and whoever wins will face you at Double or Nothing. And I rolled so hard.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I don't want either team to face Hurt Syndicate on pay-per-view.
No, this match should be on a Dynamite or a Collision, not on a pay-per-view.
Or on Sunday Night Heat, bro. Look, this is not a match I want to pay for, okay? If anything, this feels like a pre-show match that everyone should get for free, okay?
Yeah.
So I feel like that match is going to serve more of a story purpose than it will serve a actual competitive match purpose. It might be kind of fun to see Crew have a more respectable showing than you'd expect, but nobody buys that either of these teams is going to beat the Hurt Syndicate.
No.
It just feels like such a waste of a pay-per-view match to me. So that's the part of this whole show that I didn't just dislike, I actively hated.
I didn't like it at all.
And it went on too long, and then MVP goes, hey, a producer's telling me we got to go to commercial. When we come back, Max will be here. So they call Max out. Max doesn't come out. They had very menacingly told Max that they would have their decision. We've all talked. We know what we're going to do. And you will get your moment, or whatever it was he said. But it sounded like they were going to beat the shit out of Max. So Max is wearing his white pants, which felt like a mistake at the time because they were soon going to be brown. MVP tells Shelby Ben to go find Max. And Max and Shelton runs like a fucking gazelle out. This guy just casually runs so fast out to find Max. And Max is nowhere to be found, except Tony Khan is sitting there like a deranged psychopath, just pointing down. And he's apparently saying, he's right there. And Max is hiding behind Jerry Lynn backstage. Oh, Shelton, I've been looking all over for you. Ha! And they bring Max into the ring. Joshi, what happens next?
Well, MJF looks really nervous, gets in the ring, and MVP and Shelton Benjamin, they give the thumbs up that they want MJF to be part of Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley pulls MJF close, and he's teasing him a lot. He's doing the whole undecided thumbs up, thumbs down, leaning towards thumbs down, leaning towards thumbs up, leaning towards thumbs down. And
he's
MJF,
wearing the thumbs down shirt, too.
Yeah, and he's wearing the thumbs down shirt. And MJF, when he's teasing that, he will be accepted, he gets really excited. When he's going the other way, MJF is like, oh, no. So just MJF's expression throughout that whole segment's just hilarious. And then finally, Bobby gives him the thumbs up. MJF is so happy.
Yeah.
He jumps into Bobby Lashley's arms. Bobby just pushes him off.
Bobby's like, what the fuck? Get off me, man.
MJF rolls over. Then he's just all excited and saying, we hurt people. And finally, MJF has become a member of the Hurt Syndicate. MVP says that next week on Dynamite, he will sign his contract. Mm-hmm. And I just got to give it to MJF, man. This was actually my favorite part of the show because MJF was so entertaining throughout the whole damn segment.
It's the MJF I like. He's not being an edgelord, misogynist weirdo. He's just like a dickhead heel who's a chicken shit at the end of the day.
Yes.
Scared to get his ass beat in front of everybody. I think they're setting up a big turn next week because later on, MJF and MVP are backstage together, and MJF says he needs his lawyer, Smart Mark Sterling, great lawyer, by the way.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
To take a look at the contract, and MVP seems kind of offended. And so they're setting this up to look like MJF's going to get murdered next week. And my contention is that MJF might have a counterattack planned.
Yeah.
For the Hurt Syndicate. I'm not sure who the hell that would be because it's Bobby fucking Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. And they're so scary. But it was fun. I had a good time with it. It was, you know, it's the big kind of like talking angle of the show. And they did it really well.
Yeah, it worked. It's nice to see MJF doing something different. We weren't really enjoying his stuff with Jeff Jarrett at the start of the year. So
to say the fucking least.
Yeah, this is a huge improvement for sure.
Yeah, and somewhere in the background, I think there's still something with MJF and Hangman that's got to be dealt with, which could mean that maybe Hangman's going to win the title and then MJF
We'll see.
It could mean Ospreay's going to win the title and go into Forbidden Door. I don't know.
We don't know.
That's what I like about AEW. It is far less predictable than it's ever been.
Yes.
But anyway, good segment. A lot of fun. The main event of this show was a match with two kind of lesser known wrestlers. Samoa Joe, I believe is the correct pronunciation. And then Jonathan Moxley. Both tremendous gentlemen of stature and steel. They were quite scary. Watching two gladiators clash in a barbaric structure known as a steel cage. And AEW does cages well. I love the way AEW does steel cages. They fought in the cage. The cage is gigantic, okay? You can't just climb out of this cage, all right? They beat the shit out of each other, just straight up. I said at the beginning of the show, it kind of bothers me when people act like Mox doesn't have good matches anymore. It's the nature of the gimmick that you don't like. It's not Moxley's ability, okay? So Moxley got the shit kicked out of him, and he looked like a fucking badass in this match. He's bleeding all over the goddamn place, but it feels appropriate. Not just like Mox blood. Like Mox is bleeding because he's getting the shit kicked out of him and he's hanging in. Him and Samoa Joe just go back and forth. I think this is the first time they've ever faced each other in a singles match, which that's a dream match. I mean, in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They're going back and forth. There's a lot of shenanigans going on around the ring.
Which we expected.
Of course. It's the Death Riders, for God's sake.
The Death Riders, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, you have Claudio and Yuta. And finally, the gimmick is that, and then Marina's there as well. And then finally, Hobbs and Willow come out to even up the odds a little bit. And the match continues and continues. It leads to Hobbs just disposing of both Claudio and then fucking brutally beating the living fuck out of Yuta. He gives him a uranagi through a fucking table and then just stands over him and stares at him and looks so scary. He looks scarier than Moxley or Joe.
I love Hobbs. Yes.
Every time I see Hobbs on TV, because he's on TV every week now, Tony chose Hobbs. He's finally going with him, you know?
It's about time, yeah.
Like, it's about time, and, like, I'm glad he chose Hobbs and not Ricky. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, yeah,
of
course. Yes.
Ricky's fine and everything. No harm, no foul, whatever. He's where he belongs. I never hear about him anymore, and I'm happy about it. But I'm glad you went with Hobbs, man. Then the Bucks music hits. So a bunch of chaos is created. And I can't remember who hands Mox the briefcase, slides it through the door.
That was Gabe Kidd.
Oh! Jesus Christ. Okay, so I totally screwed this up. So, amidst all this chaos with Yuta and Willow coming down to even up the odds with Marina and all of that, this hooded figure who is clearly Gabe Kidd.
Yeah.
The announcers trying to pretend like they don't know that it's Gabe Kidd was hilarious because there's only one person this could be, and it's Gabe Kidd.
Yes.
And everybody's wondering, why the fuck is Gabe Kidd here? He comes down and hands Moxley the briefcase amidst all the chaos. Moxley just hits Samoa Joe in the face with it, but immediately covers him and pins him. It's kind of a believable pinfall because he just hit him and pinned him. Like,
yeah.
He hit him right in front of the ref. There's no disqualification.
Right.
There was a rope break, but there's no disqualification. Gabe Kidd's down and trying to help be of some assistance to the Death Riders. And then the Young Bucks music hits. The cage door comes up. No. So the cage door opens. The Bucks music hits. They all start beating up Samoa Joe. They take out Hobbs. Matt has the lowest cut V-neck so far. Beautiful tits. Comes out. He's got a big remote control in his hands, which is the cage remote. They bring the cage up so that they can all get in the ring and double team Hobbs and Joe. And then they then Kenny runs out. He gets overwhelmed and gets beat up after hitting. He takes a few guys out, but he gets overwhelmed. The Bucks bring the cage down so that it's just Joe and Kenny in the ring, and they are killing them. Amidst all this chaos, Okada had come down and hit Kenny. That's how he neutralized Kenny. Threw him in the ring to be fed on by the rest of them. And then the camera totally missed that Speedball had come down and got Okada out of there. They just showed this mulleted man just chasing Okada to the back. And then the final blow is struck. The Bucks and Gabe Kidd and the Death Riders are in the ring. They're all beating up Kenny and Joe. Who's going to stop this madness?
Whose house?
The guy who swerves when he drives walks out. He does not look like he's swerving here. He looks like he's driving very confidently. This is the funniest walk down I've ever seen to a beatdown out since Jeff Hardy juked down to the ring to save his brother Matt. Because as Swerve is walking like all business, no nonsense, he has a jacket on, which he very briskly, but very like no fucks given, walks down to the ring, takes his jacket off. He climbs this cage so fast, like it was no struggle at all for him. It's the fastest I've ever seen somebody climb a cage. And he gets to the top and immediately just fucking Swerve stomps everybody. Swerve looks like such a badass here.
Yep, he's the guy.
The Matt Jackson, he's so good at this shit. Matt Jackson is like, up. He's like raising the cage up with the remote, and he's trying to get it up faster because the Bucks are terrified of Swerve. Everybody from the other side ran from Swerve. Like, Swerve's the only guy standing in the ring. And then Swerve is the one who levies the challenge. Joshi, this was fucking badass.
It was. Swerve's the dude. He's just a representative of AEW. What do you want me to say?
It's Swerve and Hangman. It's their company. Yeah. It really is. Then Swerve challenges them to an Anarchy in the Arena match. I got the vibes. You and I both got the vibe that Marina and Willow will be a part of it. I really hope they are. One, there will be some intergender stuff if they are, and they can handle it. They're both built for that. They've both been doing some of that anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think they made Swerve look like kind of the leader of the team.
Yeah, they did.
I think that's what they're doing. And that's the right call as far as I go. So it'll be some combination of Swerve, Kenny, Hobbs, Joe, and maybe Speedball versus Mox, Claudio, Yuta, the Bucks, Gabe Kidd. So there has to be somebody else involved on the other side. But
yeah. And
then maybe Willow and Marina.
I hope so.
So maybe Shibata will come back. Maybe Shibata will come back to be the other guy. And maybe that'll lead to the return of Jack Perry somehow. Maybe that will lead to something more. But I think they're actually trying to create a storyline reason for Forbidden Door this year. Not just like, hey, it's New Japan versus AEW. It's like everything kind of has a story this year. That's the theme. So they don't just do matches just to do matches anymore. So the one negative so far is that Double or Nothing hasn't been built very much besides the top 4 matches, Ospreay and Hanger, Mercedes and Jamie, Tony and Mina. And they just started building that. And then this Anarchy in the Arena match, which they have been building for a month. So I'm still excited for Double or Nothing, but there's a lot of this card that doesn't seem like it's been announced.
Right. I agree.
They probably don't need to go.
No, we don't need 10 matches.
We don't need 10 matches or 14 matches or the Tony Khan fucking cokehead fucking booking. Just give us a solid 7 match show. The Anarchy in the Arena match is going to be long. Hanger and Ospreay will be long. Mercedes and Jamie will be long. You know, I don't think we need a huge undercard. So, Joshi.
Absolutely not. Agreed. Yes.
Any other thoughts you'd like to share before we tell the people goodbye?
No, I'm just looking forward to Double or Nothing at this point.
Well, so am I, Joshi. And you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing you again next Friday because we will be doing a preview and prediction episode. And not only that, we will feature the return of your husband, the main motherfucker named Joshi J.
Yes, he'll discuss the best of the Super Juniors.
I'm Blade Daly.
I'm Joshi G.
Pro Wrestling Forever. Now I gotta pee. Bye.
Yeah, me too. Bye.